Hello and welcome to a tutorial and playthrough of Mindbug, which is a card game. This was released at Essen. It is one deck of cards, as you can see here. This is not a collectible card game or anything like that. It's just one deck of cards, but it's a two-player combat-style card game, and it's actually going to be going on Kickstarter on the 23rd of November this year. I am joined today by one of the designers. Good afternoon, Marvin.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming on. How are you doing, sir?
Very good. Very good. Thank you.
Right. Now, tell us, first of all, give us a high-level overview of what Mindbug is, or Mindbug First Contact, to give it its full name.
Yeah, perfect. So Mindbug basically is a dueling card game.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did in the very beginning is we thought about what do we really like about trading card games, collectible card games,
Right.
living card games. And we put all of that aspects that we really liked about those games, like strategic depth, for example, and combos with cards and so on, and try to distill it to its core and put everything of it in a small box.
Yeah.
And that's basically what Mindbug is. It's not a collectible card game or so. You just need the box and you're ready to play.
Yeah. Now, when we met at Essen
yeah.
and we had a chat there, we were talking about our good old days in the 90s playing Magic the Gathering. So you've come from a CCG background.
Absolutely, absolutely. Playing Magic since the 90s and all of these other games, and I really love those games.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, I think some of those games have their flaws.
Right.
So, for example, you could have pretty bad matches in most of those games because someone doesn't draw the right cards at the right time and doesn't have the right resources to play certain cards in their hand or so. So often at the end of a game of Magic or so, you would hear someone say, "Oh, would I just have drawn this card? I would have won or so."
Yeah.
And at the end of Mindbug, it's more like, what kind of decision should I have made in another way so that I would have won?
Yeah. Now, we mentioned that this is a deck of cards. Basically, this is all you need. It's not that it's not that each player needs their own deck of cards. You need just this one deck of cards, and that is enough for two players to play the game.
Yes.
Now, there are 4 designers listed in the little rule book. So talking to you earlier, you said that the original concept for this game was you and Christian, but then you've got some guy involved called Richard Garfield. Now, his name's familiar to me, but Richard Garfield and Scaf Elias are the 2 other designers. So just talk us through the design process a little bit.
Yeah. So Christian and myself, we thought it might be we had the same kind of interest for these kind of games. So we started with the premise of wanting to create a very clean and elegant dueling card game. That's how we started. We came up with a mechanic, with the Mindbug mechanic, that allowed us to create crazy powerful creatures that are more or less automatically balanced in the game due to the Mindbug mechanic. And we achieved that without needing a kind of resource cost to play those cards.
Yeah.
We really liked the core idea in the first draft of the game. It was already pretty close, we thought. And I have a podcast where I invite great game designers and very smart people of the industry. So you have been a guest as well, of course. And I also invited Richard Garfield to that podcast.
Right.
And there I pitched the idea to him, telling him that we have this nice Mindbug mechanic, because I knew that he is also very much into balancing cards and balancing games. And so he was immediately intrigued by that. But his answer was, this must be an overstatement. So when I pitched my auto balancing mechanic.
Okay.
So, but he was interested, and we started to play the game, and we played a few rounds, and he was he really liked the game and said, I'm impressed. Can we play again?
Right. That's always a good sign.
It's a super sign. And since then we are meeting once or twice a week to play Mindbug and design it.
Excellent. So yeah, it's the final game is a collaboration between all 4 designers.
Yes. So I think we started maybe 2 years ago with the game design, and Richard and Scav, they joined maybe 9 months ago. So almost a year maybe. Yes.
Yeah, excellent.
Something
Right,
like
let's jump in and let's explain to people how the game is played, and then we'll talk a little bit more afterwards. So, as mentioned,
Absolutely.
there is a deck of cards in Mindbug. What you do is you give these cards a shuffle, and each player is going to basically get their own deck of 10 cards from this deck. Now, there's 48 cards in here, I think. So we give these a shuffle, and we're going to deal out 10 cards each. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And that is it. These cards, these are going to go off camera. We do not need those cards at all now. Each of us has our own 10-card deck. And from that 10-card deck, we draw 5 cards into our hand. Now, if you're watching this, you'll realise that Marvin is not actually in the same room as me. He's playing remotely. So what we've got is we've got this system where I'm going to deal out his cards into his hand. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show him on this camera preset. I'm going to flip these cards over while closing my eyes so that you know which cards you've got in your hand. Although flipping them over while closing my eyes is actually quite difficult. So there we go. They are your 5 starting cards. Let me know when I will start looking at mine in hand while you're looking at those.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
Okay.
Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm done.
Got it? Right. Let's flip these back over. Is that the card? Yeah,
Yes.
That's the card. It's really hard to do with your eyes closed. 3, 4, 5. Right, okay, so there you go. There's your cards in hand. Now, the other thing that we've got is each player has 2 of these Mindbug cards, and we also start the game with 3 life points. Now, these life point counters are from a different game. You can use anything you want as the life counters. If you don't have any additional counters, you can actually just use 3 face-down cards from here. The objective of the game is to basically defeat your opponent by removing their life points. So the rules of the game are fairly simple. We need to decide a start player. So you know this deck of cards which I took off camera and said we don't need these again. I lied. What we do is we each draw a card. So your card is, well, there we go. My card is this one. And we compare the power numbers. So power 9 versus power 7. And if it was a tie, we'd draw again. But that basically means that you're going to take the first turn of the game. So to explain the rules very simply, on your turn you have a choice of 2 possible actions. The first one is that you can play a card from your hand. All the cards are creature cards. So you play a card from your hand and you put it face up into the middle of the table into your play area. That is your first option. The second option is that you attack with one of your creatures and you attack your opponent. So obviously the first turn of the game, Marvin doesn't have any creatures in play, so you're going to be playing a card from your hand. So which card would you like to play?
I would like to play card number 2.
Okay, so card number 2. So this comes into play, and this is a shield bugs. Now, this is the power. Will come when creatures fight each other. The one with the highest power will win. This has a keyword of tough. There are 5 keywords in the game. They are all explained on the back of the rulebook and in more detail in the rulebook. And it also has a special ability. Now, as soon as you play a card from your, or as soon as a card leaves your hand, whether it be played or discarded or whatever, you immediately, before anything else happens, draw a replacement. So I'm going to show you this card. This is your new card number 2. I'll close my eyes.
Yeah, got it.
Got it? Okay.
Yep.
And then here's the twist to this game. If you've been thinking, oh, it's another dueling card game, what makes this game different? This is what makes it different. You want to play this card. Before it actually hits the table, before it comes into play, I have the option of using one of my Mindbug cards to basically take control of it, and it comes into play on my side. These Mindbug cards can only ever be used at that instant. You can't use them afterwards to take control of something. It's only at the point it is about to come into play. So I need to make a decision about whether to play it. So would you say this game has a bluffing element to it?
Yes, it has.
Right. Because I'm thinking, that looks like quite a good card, but you might be bluffing me. You might want me to Mindbug that because you've got something far better. So I'm not going to Mindbug it.
Okay.
So that card has come into play, and that's the end of your turn.
It is.
My go. Right. Now, I'm in the same position. I'm looking at these cards and I'm thinking, well, that's really good and that's really good. But you've got 2 Mindbug cards as well. So if I play
that was
one,
basically one design goal of the game. So
right.
we tried to make every card interesting. So since we do not have a resource cost like mana or crystals, it basically means we do not need cards for the beginning of the game that are not very good at the end of the game. So the design goal was to make every card very exciting and strong. Yeah.
Next Essen, me and you should go to the pub together and just spend 1 hour talking about CCGs from the 90s. And
we should definitely do so.
I'd enjoy that. Right, I am going to play. Let's put the close-up view on. That's your card. I am going to try to bring into play Kangasaurus Rex, which is a 7-power creature that when I play it, it defeats all enemy creatures with power 4 or less. I'm going to draw a replacement straight away. Would you like to Mindbug that?
This is a very powerful card.
I know. But the great thing is, if you Mindbug it from me, it actually doesn't do anything.
Yeah, and that's actually another very interesting aspect of the game because cards often have a different value for both players. It's a little bit of asymmetry in there. Mm-hmm. I think the creature is super powerful, but at the moment it doesn't have a super strong effect for you, so you can have it.
Okay, so it comes into play and it defeats all enemy creatures with power 4 or less. So this is defeated.
It is defeated, but since it has the keyword tough, it basically means it loses one of its 2 life points.
Yeah, so what you do is you exhaust it instead of defeating it. Mm-hmm. Now, exhausted in this game does not work like exhausted in most other games. It's not going to unexhaust at the start of your turn. It is now permanently sideways, and it can be used as normal, but if it takes another damage, then it will be killed.
Yes.
Right, got it. It's your go.
Yes.
So you could attack with this if you wanted to.
Yeah,
but we know that that's not gonna work out for you because I could then block with this.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm playing card number 3.
Okay, so card number 3 comes into play, and it's a power 8 Rhino Turtle. So I'll draw your replacement card immediately. There you go.
Okay.
And right, so it's got Frenzy and Tough. So we know how Tough works. Frenzy, if this card survives its first attack during a turn, it can attack again. Wow. Okay. I'm not liking that. I think I am going to Mindbug that.
Okay.
So here's how this works. I basically discard one of my Mindbugs from play, and the card comes into play on my side. And if it had an effect which happens when the card comes into play, it only happens after you've had a chance to Mindbug it. So that card is now mine. Now, the downside of me using a Mindbug is I effectively skip my next turn. So it's back to you again.
It's my turn again.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play card number 5.
Card number 5. Okay, so card number 5 is an Explosive Toad. So again, it has Frenzy. So if it survives its first attack in a turn, it can attack again. And when it is defeated, it defeats another creature. Let's have a think. No, well, let's draw your replacement card. Here's your replacement card.
Mm-hmm, got it.
Okay. I don't think I'm going to Mindbug that, because if I do, I've got no Mindbugs then for the rest of the game. So I'm not going to Mindbug that. I'll let you have that one.
Then it's your turn.
Right, my go. So I'm going to attack. Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's how attacking works. I choose which creature I want to attack with, and I'm going to attack with Kangasaurus Rex. So if you don't block it, you're going to lose 1 life point. If you do block it, you choose which of your creatures you want to block with. Mm-hmm. So would you like to block?
I would ask myself, why don't you attack with the Rhino Turtle in that scenario? Because the Rhino could attack twice.
It could.
The Kangasaurus can only attack once.
That's true. My worry was that you'd... Oh yeah, so here's what I was thinking. My worry was you'd block with the Explosive Toad, and then you'd kill the Rhino Turtle. But you could actually do that anyway.
I can do that anyway, yes.
Okay, yeah. So if you don't mind, I will attack with the Rhino Turtle instead.
Yes.
So this is attacking.
I will be blocking with my Explosive Toad.
Okay, so this blocks. So what happens is we compare the power of the creatures, and the highest power wins the fight. If the power is the same, both creatures are defeated. So what happens is the Explosive Toad is defeated, and it's going to go to the discard pile, but its defeated ability is it can defeat a creature. Yeah. So that's going to go to your discard pile.
And I would like to defeat the Rhino Turtle.
Right, which is because it's got tough, it just goes sideways. Right.
Yes.
But then, because does that count as being still surviving?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Right. Okay. So because it survived its first fight, it can now attack again, and I will attack again with the Rhino Turtle.
And that means I will not block.
So you could block, but you would lose the shield bugs.
Yeah, I don't want to lose them. That's why I take the hit.
There we go. So you lose 1 life, and that is my go done.
Yes. And I'm going to play card number 4 now.
Right, card number 4. So, a Compost Dragon. It's got Hunter, and oh dear. When it comes into play, you play a card from your discard pile. Right, let's reveal your next card before we do anything else.
Got it?
Got it? Okay, right. Now, I could Mindbug that, but if I do, the coming into play effect is ignored for me because I don't have anything in my discard pile. But if I allow you to have it, you're going to get your Explosive Toad back. I'm going to let you have it.
Okay, then I take my Explosive Toad.
That comes back as well. Right, okay. Now, Hunter basically means when you attack, you may choose which enemy creature blocks rather than the other player choosing to block. Right, my go. Right, I'm just having a look at the cards in my hand now. And you've still got 2 Mindbugs.
Yes.
You're going to use them at just the right time, aren't you?
That's the goal.
That's
but
the
goal. But you can trick me.
Well, I suspect, correct me if I'm wrong, you've played this game a little bit more than I have.
I don't know how often you played it since Essen, but probably yes.
Yeah. Okay. Let me have a look. Oh, wow. Right. I am going to play a card, I think. Yeah, I'm going to play a card. I'm going to play the Harpy Mother.
Oh.
So it's 5 power. I'm going to draw a replacement card. And when it's defeated, I take control of up to 2 creatures with power 5 or less. Do you want me to have this, or would you like to Mindbug it?
You can have it.
Okay, I've got it. It's your go.
I'm going to attack you with the Explosive Toad.
Right, so the Explosive Toad is attacking. It's got Frenzy. It has 5 power. So if I was to block it with the Harpy Mother, they would defeat each other. And then you would defeat another of my creatures.
Yes.
So... But then... Ooh. Okay, yeah. So what I'm going to do is... I am going to block with the Harpy Mother.
Okay.
Now, at this point, we have a timing question, because these are going to defeat each other. They've both got defeated effects. And I remember reading in the rulebook, it's the active player that chooses the resolution of those, the order?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
This happens really seldom, because you often don't have 2 effects at the same time. That's not happening too often. Yeah. So in that case, I would like to defeat your Rhino. Do I want to defeat your Rhino Turtle? Yes, I want to defeat your Rhino Turtle.
Yes, the Rhino Turtle was already defeated once because it was tough, so that is now gone.
Actually, we are doing We have done a mistake.
Okay. Should these go to the discard pile first?
No, I have the shield box in play, giving my creatures +1.
Oh, you do.
So it basically means if you block like that, my one wouldn't die.
It's true. Other allied creatures have +1 power. Right, okay. In which case, I am blocking with the Kangasaurus Rex instead.
Okay, then I still would like to defeat the Rhino Turtle when my Explosive Toad goes to the discard pile.
Yeah, so I win the fight. That gets defeated. Goes to the discard pile. Takes the Rhino Turtle with it. And that's it, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Then it's your turn.
Okay, right. Now, this is looking quite good for me now, I think, because I've got these creatures in play.
Maybe.
Which have a higher power. Maybe, he says. Yeah, so I am just going to attack with Kangasaurus Rex. And you can block it or take a damage.
I will take the hit.
Okay, so you are down to 1 life point, and then it's your go.
Now it's my turn. So I will play card number 1.
Card number 1. Okay, so card number 1 is a Mysterious Mermaid. So. Oh, no. Brilliant. So I'm in a no-win situation here. If I allow you to play it, you'll go up to 3 life. If I Mindbug it, then I go down to 1 life.
Yeah, it can either be a very aggressive card, or it can be a card that heals myself. So it's up to you.
when I find out which of the 4 designers designed that card.
I can't remember.
Can't remember, right.
I can't remember.
One of my cats has just entered the room to give me moral support, so if you can hear a squeaking in the background, that is Loki. So let me just think about this. Because if I Mindbug it, I've got the card, then it's your turn again, but I've got the card. Oh, hello, you. Yeah, we got a cat who wants to learn how to play.
Yeah, my cats are not in the room at the moment, so otherwise they could play against each other.
Oh, you've got me thinking now. Right, you get yourself down there. Right, okay. I don't want you to have 3 life, but more importantly, I don't want you to have a 7 power creature.
It's 8 power, actually.
Let's draw your... Oh, it's 8 power, yeah. Let's draw your replacement card. This is your final card from your deck.
Is it? Oh.
And it's important to know that now your deck is empty, that is it. The 10 cards that you get at the start of the game, that is your 10 cards.
I got it.
You got it? You don't get any additional cards. So that is it. That's your 5 cards left. Oh, man. Right, I'm going to Mindbug it. I am going to do it. So that is my Mysterious Mermaid, which means my life goes down to 1. Brilliant. And it's your go again.
And that was my vicious plan that I had.
That I built based... You've got 2 Mindbugs and I can't...
Based on the cards that I had in hand. So I'm now playing card number 2, and you don't have any Mindbugs left.
Card number 2 is Killer Bee. Comes into play. You don't get a replacement card. The opponent loses a life point. Oh. Right. How long have you been planning that?
I've been trying to set this up for the last 3 turns. So I was trying to trick you into attacking me so that I get into to 1 life. Right. And so I was trying to trick you to take the Mysterious Mermaid.
Right.
And that worked out, actually.
Which worked. Wasn't sure. Get me down to 1 life and then play the Killer Bee.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, right. Well, that was fantastic. That was good fun. Talk about these 48 creatures in the deck. Are they all unique?
No, they aren't. So there are 16 cards that are unique. And 16 cards that are twice in the game.
Okay, so there's 32 different cards in here, with 16 of those cards having 2 copies of them. Talk to me about possible future expansions for this game then, because that's the standard question for any kind of card game now, is what's the future plans for it?
So first of all, the replayability of this 48 cards is really high. It's much higher than you might think for just 48 cards.
Yeah.
So there will be expansions, of course. But compared to a CCG, it's not like you are buying cards to increase your deck. It's more like buying an additional pack to increase the experience for the entire play group. So we will have some new cards revealed in the during the Kickstarter campaign.
Okay.
And for the future, it depends on how well the game is received by the people, of course. But we plan on doing new expansions. We have a backlog of some nice cards because during the design phase we tried a lot of crazy effects. Something like the Mysterious Mermaid, for example. It's a crazy effect that you wouldn't see in many other games. I would think. Yeah. So. That's actually what we have more of, but we try to make the game as simple and as approachable as possible for the first contact, for the initial set, because we think that's a main selling point for the game, because it allows some kind of CCG-like play experience, but with very simple and approachable rules. So there will be coming more in the future. Yes,
that's the thing, because I play a lot of these CCGs and LCGs, and I still play them now. And I love them, but
so do I.
Some of them are fairly complicated with big rule books and a lot going on. And if your objective at the start was to create a game which captures the dueling aspect of it, but was relatively simple, that you can pick up easily, and I read the rule book and learned how to play this game in like 5 minutes, and it's there. You've done it. You've achieved your objective of a game that doesn't get itself bogged down in all of these complicated rules, while still maintaining, I think, a very high level of interesting decisions that you have to make in the game. And as you say, if there's only 32 different cards in this set, so the Kickstarter, which is going live next week, is going to be for a pack of cards like this, just with maybe some extra cards in there?
Yeah, exactly. So you can basically get the same cards that you see here, that we have first brought out in Essen Spiel this year as a super small print run, just to test it, and we are now bringing this to Kickstarter to allow everyone in the world to get the same experience.
Okay, and I'm just thinking of the future when you release an expansion set. Would it be? You might not have even thought about this, but would it be another pack of cards like this, or would it just be a small booster pack of 15 cards that you would then add in and just shuffle in?
Yeah, so nothing is set in stone here, but I can totally talk about our ideas. So for the Kickstarter, it will basically, maybe it will be something like an upgrade pack or so. Okay. That is I would call it something in between a booster pack and a full expansion. Right. Okay. So from the size. But for the future, it's more like we want to create new sets that feel like full experiences. So it will basically, it could be the same size, like 48 cards or so. Yeah. That work very well together, that build a nice experience with maybe new effects, new keywords that work well together, that are very well balanced. So you could play it as a standalone experience, but you could totally, and we really like that the most, mix those cards up with the initial set. Yeah. And get more variety, more and more different card interactions. Yeah. Right. And there's one really interesting thing that we already have seen going on. So people are building their own kind of sets. Okay. So if you have more cards available, it can be interesting to build your own kind of small cubes. Right. If you come from Magic, that then build a nice play experience as well. So that's something that we want to encourage in the future as well. Right. Okay. Excellent. And yes, so it's going live on Kickstarter on November 23rd. Yes. Which just happens to be the day before my own convention. And if you are attending GridCon, which happens next week, there will be a copy of this in the library, and I am more than happy to teach people how to play. And if there's enough interest, we might run a little mini tournament or something like that, because it is a game that you can just pick up, learn very quickly, and you can play your first game of it. It's not like some other games where you need like 3 or 4 games before you actually feel ready to play it. I think you can play this game, straight out of the box, really. Yeah. And what's interesting is you won that game and you still had both of your Mindbugs. But only one life left, so.
But only one life left, yes. Anyway, that was fantastic. So yeah, thank you very much for joining me and for showing me the game. I have to admit that when you first told me about this game, if you knew the number of people over the years that have approached me and said, "Hi Paul, I've designed my own card game based on CCGs," I've heard that so many times from so many people. Yeah. And most of the time they end up with like a Magic replica or something like that. But then, as I say, when you explained this to me in Essen, I was like, oh, okay, this is something a little bit different. So, yeah.
That's actually interesting because some people at the booth in Essen, they came to us and just said, "Is this another Magic? Is this another Keyforge?" Yeah, and that was when they played it, they realized that it has some essence of those games for sure. But when you play it, because of the Mindbug, it feels really different. It feels different.
Yeah, I think the Mindbug is definitely one of the twists with the game. The other twist with the game, as far as I'm concerned, is each player does not bring their own deck to the table. You know, even in Keyforge, you still turn up with your own deck. In this, you basically shuffle the cards, deal 10 cards each, and then there you go. They are your cards. So yeah, if you're looking for an accessible game which isn't going to break your budget, you know, you can just buy one pack, then yeah, that's it. So yeah, for those people watching this video, thank you very much, obviously, for watching. I hope you've found the video useful to learn about the game and see what it's like. And if you are interested in it, then yeah, consider backing it on Kickstarter. And thank you very much, Marvin, for playing the game this afternoon and joining me.
Thanks a lot for having me.
Yeah, excellent. Right. Thanks very much, everybody. Take care, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Cheers. Bye.